What happens when a family built on strict rules, deep faith, and isolation suddenly finds itself facing change, independence, and emotional fallout? For years, fans of Welcome to Plathville have watched the Plath family navigate one of the most dramatic family transformations on reality television. From strict farm life to rebellion, heartbreak, and unexpected freedom, every season has brought new emotional twists. But now, season 8 may be the most important chapter yet. Relationships are shifting, old conflicts are resurfacing, and some family members are starting completely new lives. From Barry Plath and Kim Plath trying to redefine their family dynamic, to Lydia Plath stepping into a new stage of adulthood, and Ethan Plath rebuilding life after heartbreak. Season 8 promises emotional moments that could change the Plath family forever. So today, we're breaking down the real theme of Season 8, what it means for the future of the family, and why this season might redefine everything we thought we knew about the Plaths. But before we dive in, if you enjoy deep dives into reality TV drama, hidden storylines, and the biggest moments from Welcome to Plathville, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Now let's get into the real story behind Season 8, a family at a crossroads. At its core, Welcome to Plathville has always told the story of a family standing between two very different worlds. On one side is the life the Plath parents created, structured, traditional, and rooted deeply in faith and family values. On the other side is the modern world that many of the Plath children began discovering as they grew older. For much of their childhood, the Plath children lived in a carefully controlled environment. Their parents, Kim Plath and Barry Plath, believed that raising their children away from many outside influences would protect them and help them grow into strong, disciplined adults. Television, social media, and many elements of mainstream culture were restricted in the household. Instead, the family focused on music, faith, education at home, and spending time together on their rural property. At first glance, the lifestyle seemed calm and peaceful. The children appeared close to one another, and the family often presented itself as a united team. But as the series progressed, viewers slowly began to see the challenges that came with such a tightly controlled environment. As the older children entered adulthood, they began asking questions about independence and personal freedom. They wanted to explore the world beyond the boundaries they had grown up with. Some were curious about careers, relationships, and lifestyles that were very different from what they had known before. This shift created one of the most important dynamics in the show, the tension between tradition and independence. Season after season, viewers watched as different members of the Plath family responded to this tension in their own unique ways. Some embraced change and began exploring new opportunities. Others struggled to adapt and felt caught between loyalty to their parents and the desire to create their own identities. By the time Season 8 begins, these changes have already transformed the family in significant ways. One of the most dramatic turning points involved the evolving relationship between the parents themselves. For years, Barry and Kim Plath represented the foundation of the family structure. Their values and decisions shaped nearly every aspect of the household. But as their own relationship began to change, it had a ripple effect throughout the entire family. When the parents started redefining their lives and priorities, the children were forced to reconsider everything they had grown up believing about stability and family unity. For many viewers, this shift marked a powerful moment in the series because it showed that even the strongest family systems can change over time. In Season 8, that sense of uncertainty continues. The Plath family now finds itself navigating a completely new reality. Some family members live independently, building lives outside the original household structure. Others remain closely connected to the traditions they were raised with. and a few find themselves somewhere in between, trying to balance old values with new experiences. This creates a situation where every family gathering, conversation, or reunion carries emotional weight. What used to be simple interactions can now become complicated discussions about boundaries, expectations, and personal growth. Another reason Season 8 feels like such a crossroads is the emotional growth many family members have experienced. Over the years, viewers have watched the Plath children mature, confront challenges, and learn difficult lessons about relationships and independence. For example, Ethan Plath has gone through some of the most visible changes in the series. His journey has included navigating marriage struggles, personal conflict, and the challenge of balancing his family loyalty with his own evolving identity. These experiences have shaped how he interacts with the rest of the family and how he approaches the future. At the same time, other siblings have been exploring their own paths, each reacting differently to the freedom and responsibility that adulthood brings. Some pursue careers, others focus on personal growth, and some simply try to understand who they are outside of the environment they were raised in. This diversity of experiences is what makes the Plath family story so compelling. Instead of moving in a single direction, the family members are branching out into many different paths. And yet, despite those differences, one question still connects them all. What does it mean to remain a family after so much change? Season 8 suggests that the answer may not be simple. Rebuilding relationships requires honesty, patience, and sometimes difficult conversations. It also requires acknowledging that people grow and evolve over time. For the Plaths, this process is happening not only privately, but also in front of millions of viewers. That public spotlight adds another layer of pressure. Every decision, disagreement, and emotional moment becomes part of a larger story that audiences around the world follow closely. Because of this, the idea of a family at a crossroads feels especially powerful. The Plath family is no longer defined solely by the rules and traditions that once shaped their lives. Instead, they are entering a new phase where each member must decide how much of that past they want to carry into the future. Some may hold on tightly to those traditions. Others may choose to redefine them. And some may step away entirely to build something new. Whatever direction they take, Season 8 captures a moment when the entire family is standing at the intersection of past and future, trying to understand who they were, who they are now, and who they will become next. Rebuilding family relationships. One of the most powerful themes in Welcome to Plathville Season 8 is the complicated process of rebuilding family relationships after years of tension, misunderstandings, and emotional distance. For the Plath family, relationships have never been simple. What once appeared to be a strong, united household slowly became divided as different family members began to follow their own paths. As the children grew older and started exploring independence, their choices often clashed with the expectations set by their parents. These differences created emotional gaps that became more visible with every passing season. At the center of this dynamic are the parents, Kim Plath and Barry Plath, whose decisions shaped the structure of the family for many years. Their parenting style was rooted in strong values and a desire to protect their children from what they believed were negative influences in the outside world. However, as their children matured and encountered new experiences, those protective boundaries began to feel restrictive for some of them. This led to disagreements about lifestyle choices, personal freedom, and the direction each family member wanted their life to take. Over time, these disagreements created emotional walls. Conversations that were once easy became tense. Family gatherings sometimes carried an underlying sense of conflict. Even small disagreements could trigger deeper frustrations that had been building for years. By the time season 8 begins, the Plath family has already experienced many of these difficult moments. But instead of focusing only on the conflicts themselves, this season explores something more meaningful: the possibility of reconciliation. Rebuilding a relationship is rarely a simple process. It requires both sides to acknowledge past mistakes and to listen to perspectives that may be very different from their own. For the Plath family, this means confronting some uncomfortable truths. Parents may need to reconsider decisions they once believed were completely right. Children may need to recognize that their parents were trying in their own way to do what they thought was best. Finding that middle ground is not easy. One of the challenges in rebuilding family connections is learning how to communicate again after years of tension. When trust has been damaged, even ordinary conversations can feel emotionally charged. People may worry about saying the wrong thing, reopening old wounds, or triggering arguments that were never fully resolved. Season 8 captures many of these delicate moments. Family members attempt to reconnect, sometimes through honest discussions about the past, and sometimes through small gestures that show a willingness to move forward. These moments may not always solve every problem, but they represent important steps toward understanding. Another factor that makes reconciliation complicated is the fact that each family member has grown in different ways. Over the years, the Plath children have experienced life outside the environment they were raised in. They have met new people, explored different lifestyles, and formed their own opinions about the world. These experiences have shaped who they are today. At the same time, their parents have also been evolving. Life changes, personal challenges, and shifting family dynamics have influenced how Kim and Barry Plath see their roles as parents and individuals. The people they are today may not be exactly the same as the people viewers met in the first season of the show. Because of this, rebuilding relationships is not simply about returning to the past. Instead, it is about creating a new version of the family dynamic, one that recognizes the changes everyone has gone through. This process often requires patience. Some conversations may bring emotional breakthroughs, while others may end in frustration. Progress may happen slowly with moments of connection, followed by setbacks or misunderstandings. But even those difficult moments can be meaningful. They show that family members are still willing to engage with one another, even when the discussions are uncomfortable. That willingness to keep trying is often what makes reconciliation possible. Another important element of rebuilding relationships is learning to respect boundaries. As the Plath children have grown into adulthood, many of them have established independent lives. They may live in different places, pursue different careers, or follow lifestyles that differ from the traditions they grew up with. For parents, adjusting to these changes can be challenging. Accepting that children are making their own decisions, even decisions that feel unfamiliar, requires a shift in perspective. It means recognizing that independence does not necessarily mean rejection of the family. At the same time, the children must also navigate their own feelings about family expectations. They may want freedom while still maintaining meaningful connections with the people who raised them. Finding that balance becomes one of the central emotional journeys of season 8. In many ways, the story of the Plath family reflects a universal experience that many viewers can relate to. Families everywhere face moments when relationships must adapt to changing circumstances. Children grow up, parents evolve, values shift, life moves forward. And during those transitions, families must decide how to remain connected while allowing each individual to grow. Season 8 highlights this delicate balance. It shows that rebuilding relationships does not mean pretending that conflicts never happened. Instead, it means acknowledging the past while choosing to focus on the possibility of a stronger future. For the Plaths, that journey is still unfolding. Some relationships may heal completely, others may remain complicated, and new challenges may continue to appear as the family evolves. But one thing remains clear. Despite the disagreements, the emotional bonds between family members are still present. Those bonds, tested by time, conflict, and change, are what make the story of the Plath family so compelling. And as season 8 continues, viewers will see whether those connections are strong enough to guide the family toward a new chapter, built not only on shared history, but also on renewed understanding. New beginnings for the next generation. Another major theme shaping season 8 of Welcome to Plathville is the idea of new beginnings, especially for the younger members of the Plath family who are stepping fully into adulthood. For many of the Plath children, growing up meant living under a unique set of rules and expectations. Their childhood environment emphasized discipline, faith, family unity, and a lifestyle that stayed intentionally separated from many parts of modern culture. This upbringing shaped their values and personalities, but it also meant that many of them experienced the outside world later than most people their age. As they entered adulthood, however, everything began to change. The transition from a sheltered childhood to an independent adult life can be overwhelming for anyone. But for the Plath children, that transition has been especially dramatic because it involves discovering a world that once felt distant or unfamiliar. Season 8 captures this stage of life where curiosity, independence, and personal growth all begin to collide. For the younger generation of the Plath family, adulthood is not just about getting older. It is about discovering who they are outside the structure they were raised in. This process often includes exploring new opportunities, meeting new people, and forming relationships that influence their identity. One of the most talked about journeys in this transition involves Lydia Plath. For years, Lydia was often seen as one of the most devoted members of the family when it came to faith, responsibility, and supporting her parents. She frequently took on a caregiving role within the household and was known for her strong commitment to the values she grew up with. However, as time has passed, viewers have begun to see new layers of her personality. Season 8 explores how Lydia is beginning to shape her own future. Instead of simply following the path expected of her, she now faces decisions about relationships, independence, and what kind of life she truly wants to build. This journey is both exciting and challenging. On one hand, stepping into adulthood allows Lydia to explore possibilities that may not have been available to her before. On the other hand, making those choices can create emotional pressure, especially when family expectations are still part of the equation. Her story reflects a larger theme within the series, the shift from obedience to self-direction. For many young adults, there comes a moment when they must decide which traditions they want to keep and which ones they want to reinterpret. That moment can be complicated, particularly when family bonds and personal beliefs are deeply intertwined. Season 8 shows Lydia navigating exactly that kind of crossroads. But Lydia is not the only member of the next generation experiencing change. Across the Plath family, several siblings are building lives that look very different from the environment they once shared. Some are exploring creative passions, others are pursuing careers, and many are learning what independence truly means for the first time. This period of life is often filled with experimentation and growth. Young adults begin to ask bigger questions about their future. Where do they want to live? What kind of relationships do they want to build? What values will guide their choices moving forward? For the Plath children, answering these questions sometimes means stepping outside the expectations that shaped their childhood. Yet despite these changes, family connections still remain an important part of their identity. Even as they explore new paths, many of the siblings continue to maintain strong bonds with one another. Shared memories, experiences, and challenges have created a connection that remains powerful even when their individual lifestyles begin to differ. This sibling dynamic adds another emotional layer to season 8. Brothers and sisters who once grew up under the same roof are now navigating adulthood in very different ways. Some may embrace independence quickly, while others may take a slower path toward change. These differences can lead to moments of inspiration, support, and sometimes disagreement. But they also show how growth within a family does not always happen at the same pace for everyone. Another important element of the new beginnings theme is the idea of redefining identity. When people grow up in a strong family culture, much of their identity is shaped by that environment. But as adulthood approaches, individuals often begin exploring who they are beyond those early influences. For the Plath children, this exploration is happening while their lives are being documented on television. That public exposure adds another layer of complexity to their journeys. Every personal decision, relationship milestone, or emotional challenge becomes part of a larger narrative that viewers follow closely. Despite this pressure, Season 8 shows that the next generation of the Plath family is determined to move forward. They are learning from the past while trying to build lives that reflect their own dreams and values. Some will hold tightly to the traditions they grew up with. Others may adapt those traditions to fit their modern experiences. And some may choose entirely new directions. Whatever paths they take, their stories represent the future of the Plath family. Season 8 highlights this moment of transformation, a time when the next generation is no longer defined only by where they came from, but by the choices they are making about where they want to go next. Life after heartbreak. Another central theme in Welcome to Plathville Season 8 is life after heartbreak, particularly for family members who have experienced major relationship changes. This season focuses heavily on how individuals rebuild themselves emotionally, redefine their priorities, and navigate the challenges of moving forward. One of the most prominent stories in this arc involves Ethan Plath. Ethan's journey has been one of the most dramatic in the series. Following his divorce from Lydia Plath, he has faced the challenge of redefining his life both personally and within the family dynamic. Season 8 captures Ethan's process of reflection and rebuilding. It explores how he copes with the emotional aftermath of divorce while simultaneously trying to establish a new sense of identity. His story resonates with viewers because it shows that heartbreak is not just a personal challenge. It also affects family relationships, daily life, and future decisions. Ethan's journey after divorce is multifaceted. On one hand, he is learning to live independently and make decisions for himself. This includes establishing personal routines, exploring new hobbies, and strengthening connections with friends and family in ways that do not solely revolve around his former marriage. On the other hand, he is also learning to navigate the social and emotional expectations of a family that has its own rules and perspectives. Another aspect of life after heartbreak is the broader impact on family dynamics. For the Plath family, Ethan's divorce created ripples throughout the household. Some siblings may feel compelled to choose sides, while others are navigating how to remain neutral. Parents, too, may experience tension as they try to support their children while balancing their own expectations. Season 8 highlights these subtle emotional challenges, showing that heartbreak does not occur in isolation. It changes the context for everyone involved. Season 8 also explores the process of healing. Ethan's journey is not just about ending a marriage. It's about rebuilding confidence, reestablishing priorities, and learning from past mistakes. He is gradually discovering what he truly values in life and in relationships. This phase of self discovery is a central narrative in the season, providing emotional depth and relatability for the audience. Additionally, the season emphasizes the idea of personal growth through adversity. Heartbreak, while painful, becomes a catalyst for change. It pushes family members like Ethan to evaluate their decisions, understand their emotions, and develop resilience. In doing so, they not only grow as individuals, but also contribute to the evolution of family relationships. Other younger members of the family are also facing their own heartbreaks or emotional challenges, making season 8 a reflection on the complexities of love, loss, and growth within a family context. The series portrays these moments with a raw emotional honesty that connects with viewers who may have faced similar challenges in their own lives. Ultimately, life after heartbreak in season 8 is about more than recovering from failed relationships. It is about rediscovering identity, rebuilding family connections, and embracing the opportunities that come from starting anew. For Ethan and other members of the Plath family, this journey illustrates the delicate balance between moving forward and honoring the past, a theme that resonates deeply with audiences and adds emotional weight to the season. In summary, Season 8 uses the experiences of heartbreak and recovery to explore resilience, personal growth, and the ongoing challenge of maintaining family bonds in a changing world. It shows that while heartbreak is painful, it also has the potential to open doors to self-discovery, new beginnings, and deeper understanding among family members. The return of old conflicts. Even as some members of the Plath family attempt to move forward and build new lives, Season 8 of Welcome to Plathville makes it clear that old conflicts rarely stay buried. One of the recurring themes in this season is the reemergence of past tensions, misunderstandings, and unresolved disagreements that continue to influence the family dynamic. Family relationships are complex, and the Plath story highlights this reality. Over the years, disputes over lifestyle choices, independence, and personal decisions have left emotional marks. Season 8 explores how these unresolved issues resurface when family members come together again, whether at family gatherings, holidays, or even casual meetups. Even minor disagreements can trigger larger conflicts because many of the family members carry past grievances. The show demonstrates that emotional wounds can be layered. What seems like a small disagreement on the surface may actually be connected to years of misunderstanding, unspoken expectations, or differences in values. For instance, conflicts around independence versus tradition continue to play a central role. Some siblings, such as Lydia Plath, are exploring their own paths, which sometimes clashes with the perspectives of more traditional family members or parents like Kim Plath and Barry Plath. Even after years of growth, these differences often ignite tension. The season also shows how past misunderstandings can resurface unexpectedly. Conversations about the future, financial responsibilities, or family priorities sometimes open old wounds. While the family may attempt to move forward, the lingering effects of prior conflicts remind everyone that reconciliation is rarely linear. Another layer of drama comes from the siblings' relationships with one another. Differences in personal choices, lifestyles, and experiences create friction. For example, some siblings may feel that others have abandoned family values, while others believe they are simply growing and adapting in a modern world. This tension creates moments of both emotional confrontation and heartfelt reflection, giving the season a dynamic mix of drama and vulnerability. Season 8 also highlights how public exposure adds pressure to these conflicts. Because the Plaths' personal lives are shared on national television, every disagreement or emotional moment is witnessed by millions. This visibility can magnify conflicts, making them more intense or emotionally charged. However, it also allows viewers to witness authentic moments of family struggle and growth, creating a deeper emotional connection with the audience. Despite the return of old conflicts, the season shows that these challenges can also be opportunities for growth. The family is learning how to navigate disagreements more constructively, understand different perspectives, and communicate more effectively. Conflict becomes a tool for self-reflection and relationship development rather than merely a source of division. Ultimately, Season 8 portrays the idea that old conflicts never truly disappear. They evolve and reappear in new forms. The Plath's journey demonstrates that reconciliation requires patience, empathy, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths. For viewers, the return of old conflicts is not just drama. It is a realistic depiction of how families grow, struggle, and continue to shape one another through both past and present challenges. In summary, the return of old conflicts in Season 8 reinforces the season's overarching theme. Family is complex, emotional, and ever-evolving. Even as members pursue independence or personal growth, the past remains a vital part of their story, shaping the way they interact, love, and rebuild connections with one another. The future of the Plath family. As Welcome to Plathville Season 8 progresses, one of the most compelling questions emerges. What does the future hold for the Plath family? After years of strict rules, rebellion, heartbreak, and growth, the family stands at a critical juncture. Every decision they make now carries more weight than ever, as it will shape both personal lives and the broader family dynamic. The Plaths are no longer the same family viewers first met. Time, experience, and independence have altered relationships, personalities, and priorities. Many of the children have built lives outside the family home, while some remain more closely tied to tradition. These varying paths create a mix of perspectives that both challenge and enrich the family structure. 1. Balancing tradition and independence. One of the most prominent themes for the future is balancing tradition with independence. Barry Plath and Welcome to Plathville Mother are still deeply invested in the values they instilled in their children, but they also recognize that adulthood brings freedom and personal choice. The children, meanwhile, are learning to make independent decisions without completely severing family ties. This tension between personal growth and family loyalty is at the heart of Season 8. It raises the question, can a family maintain unity while allowing its members to pursue very different paths? 2. The impact of new relationships. Another factor shaping the family's future is the emergence of new relationships. Lydia Plath's new chapter in adulthood represents the next generation stepping into a life that balances love, independence, and personal growth. Likewise, other siblings may form relationships outside the traditional Plath household structure. These new relationships will inevitably influence the family dynamic. While they can bring joy and growth, they can also create tension or challenges as old expectations clash with new realities. The family's ability to adapt to these changes will play a significant role in determining the long-term stability of their bonds. 3. Reconciliation and forgiveness. Season 8 also emphasizes the power of reconciliation. After years of conflict, the family is slowly learning that moving forward requires forgiveness, both for themselves and for one another. Old grudges and misunderstandings cannot simply be ignored. They must be addressed, processed, and released. This process is central to the Plath's emotional journey. Some family members are more willing to forgive than others, which creates both drama and opportunity. These moments illustrate that family growth often happens through discomfort, patience, and open dialogue. 4. Personal growth and individual futures. The future of the Plath family is equally about individual growth. Each family member faces personal decisions that will affect their long-term happiness and identity. Ethan Plath's post-divorce journey is a prime example. He is discovering who he is outside of past relationships while also redefining how he fits into the family. Similarly, younger siblings are exploring careers, independence, and personal goals. Their decisions will influence not only their own futures, but also the ongoing dynamics of the family as a whole. 5. Embracing change. Ultimately, Season 8 suggests that the future will depend on the family's willingness to embrace change. Life cannot remain frozen in the past, and growth requires adaptation. The Plaths are learning that love and connection do not require uniformity. Differences can coexist if respect, communication, and understanding are prioritized. Viewers watching Season 8 witness a family at a turning point, one in which the past informs the present, but does not dictate the future. The season offers hope that despite heartbreak, conflict, and complicated dynamics, the Plath family can create a future that reflects both their roots and their personal evolution. 6 final thoughts. In the end, the story of the Plaths is a universal one. Families everywhere experience tension, growth, and change. What makes the Plaths compelling is that these struggles are magnified by the public lens of reality television, creating moments of raw emotion, heartfelt reflection, and dramatic tension. Season 8 positions the Plath family not just as a reality TV story, but as a narrative about resilience, adaptation, and the ongoing challenge of balancing individuality with family unity. Their future is uncertain, but it is full of potential for growth, reconciliation, and new beginnings.